one. Thought today, especially defensively, razor sharp, especially in the back end. The communication is unbelievable by that group, and really had right now, as usual in early part of camp, the defense steps forward as the offense is doing some installation. So it was nice to see. Had a couple dings that pulled a couple guys out with Jake Lichtenstein. We'll evaluate, and Brandon Peely. But should not be significant. Hopefully we get them back after spring. With that, we'll take spring break for a week, and then come back and we'll have 4 straight weeks of football with a lot of pad work, which we're excited about. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Just to clarify, they're out until the end of spring, Peely and Lichtenstein? Or spring break?
No, they're out for spring break. I'm hoping we'll evaluate them there and hopefully get them back by when we get back.
A little conversation with the guys before the end of practice. What was that all about?
You know, the biggest thing for me is I love the competitive fire that these guys have and iron sharpens iron. You know, and to be able, you're going to help yourself when you're competing, when a Chuma Edoga is competing against a Port Augustin. But one of the things that we do have to realize is we're a no-huddle football team, and, you know, majority of the teams in our league are no huddle. So, you know, your eyes should be trained as soon as the play's over, should go right back to the sideline instead of being chippering and bickering and things like that. So I just wanted to remind them of it, especially when you start getting into competitive team atmosphere. I don't want there to be bad habits at any point in time. And it was that time to be able to pull them up and say, hey, do your training. Your training is to take your eyes back off the field, get the signal, and do the play. And when we score a touchdown, that's when we celebrate together. Or when we get a 3 and out, that's when we celebrate together. But you don't even acknowledge the other player on the other side, because we have a job to do, and that's the next play.
Where was your other quarterback today?
He actually is a groomsman in a wedding, which is congratulations to Andrew Voorhees, a big offensive lineman, is getting married, and he's a groom. They're roommates, so he's in his wedding. So I allowed them to both be gone. They're getting married here in about 2 hours. I'm going to go shower up and get over to the wedding.
It's here?
Yeah, it's here in town.
How many times has that happened?
Not many, but I'm very happy for him, and it's a great celebration. I look forward. Me and Miss Angela are headed over to it as soon as I get off this field.
You probably got a good look at Matt Fink today because he got more reps, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you feel about what he did?
Well, I think one of the things that I took away from this is how important it's going to be for all our quarterbacks to be able to get live reps. You know, have looked really good in the routes on air, the 7-on-7s. Now bullets fly, and that's when the play comes to life, and you get to see where you're at. Some good, some we need to fix, to be honest with you. But I took away the more live reps I can give him as well as the rest of the quarterbacks. It's going to be very, very important to let the bullets be around them and let them get comfortable in that setting.
You have a number of young defensive linemen that really haven't played a lot of football, but they've been here, maybe practice. Anybody standing out to you?
You know, 2 of the young men that were on service team that I thought really have really stepped out thus far, Jay Tufele and Jake Lichtenstein. You can tell that work that they went against our first offensive line, being redshirted, has really paid off, and it's been nice to see them out. I'm hoping Jake is okay so he can continue that work, but both those 2 young men have done a nice job initially.
You think with like the defense today, is that just a normal being ahead of the offense, or is that?
Well, we'll see, Dan. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, usually the defense is always ahead of the offense in early camp, but we'll see where it's at. I think we have a really good defense, to be honest with you, from a depth standpoint as well as a talent standpoint. I will see probably about week 2 or 3. You know, at the end of week 2 or 3, exactly where we're at once we get all the installation and the kids get settled with it.
John Baxter was talking to him yesterday, and he said that he or you guys are focusing on correcting the technique errors from the Cotton Bowl. Is that something just special teams, or is that something?
No, that's all encompassing. As I said it after practice 1, you know, one of the big things that I'm stressing for myself as well as Coach Bax and the coordinators is being a better fundamental technique sound team in everything that we do, whether it's ball security, whether it's tackling, whether it's hands in the right place, to eliminate penalties. Those are things that we're really diagnosing. And one of the reasons that, you know, Bax is really helping me, being a special teams coordinator, and really taking our fundamentals and technique, and he and I are looking at them with a fine-tooth comb while Kerry is coaching tight end. So it gives us the availability for him to be able to both watch practice as well as film and help our team, our total team, develop. And I've really enjoyed working with him over these first 3 practices of really being very attention to detail when it comes to fundamentals.
In terms of those kinds of fundamentals, could that mean maybe a little bit different approach in terms of the physicality of the offensive lineman in practice, for example, that kind of thing?
As you saw today, I thought today was a very good pad-popping day. And I think some of those things you have to set up. Obviously, this is the time for it because you're going to get dinged. You may have a couple injuries, but you have time to be able to heal up. You don't have to play on Saturday. So this is a huge time period for us, and it's an opportunity for us to improve as an entire team, as well as an offensive line that I know will be physical come to game one.
Kanai Umaga came to your camp last summer, and he was he couldn't stop watching him. He was just hair on fire. And is he somebody that is developed enough and can come in and make an impact for you guys?
We'll see. We'll see. You know, it's been 3 practices. What I have liked, one, he's gotten here and already added 12 pounds of muscle, which is amazing. Congrats to Ivan Lewis. One of the reasons I think he's the best in the country. But yeah, I mean, he's already gained 12 pounds since he's been here, and still his movement skills are phenomenal. You know, he brings power to the punch. He reminds me of a lot of a young Jordan Iosefa. Has great athleticism, great speed, great power at the point of attack. And as he grows and gets comfortable in this defense, he's somebody that's going to help us at some point in time. I don't know if it'll be day 1 or day 101, but at some point in time, he is going to help us.
What's he weigh now?
I think he's right at about 226, in that 226, 230 range. So, yeah. Go ahead, Al.
Oh, I was going to say, in the time that you've been here, I'm trying to think, I don't know that if you had receivers, you know, in your starting lineup where like Pittman 6'4" and Vaughn 6'2", both guys being that tall on the perimeter. What do you think that could do for you guys?
Well, I think one, as you see sometimes with those smaller corners, to be able to go up the top and play at the rim is advantageous. What I love about both guys is they're big men, but they have little man skills. You know, they have the ability to transition, both of them, and you see those guys glide in and out of cuts with ease, and I think that's what makes both of them truly special. They have the size to dominate you physically, but they really have the transition skills to be able to run correct routes as well as make yards after contact, both of them. So very happy that they're both here. We're going to need them this year. We're going to need them to play big. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Right.
See you.